Okay, so with your med spa, you may have thought about SEO if you were struggling to get more clients. Or maybe you're doing well with your clients, but you want to get more. But you did the SEO and it just wasn't really working for you. So in this video, I'm going to go down into why 99% of med spas fail at search engine optimization. Now, before I dive into that, I do want to talk about this blended search strategy and really how that works. So what am I talking about, a blended approach or blended search strategy? Well, what that is that you are using multiple channels to support what you're doing with your online search. And there's a couple different channels that go into that. One is going to be your online reviews, which I will dive into a little bit more later on in this video. So when it comes to online reviews, it's how are people viewing you? What's your authority? What's your credibility? Because if you don't have that, then no matter how much you're doing from an SEO perspective, you're really not going to get the full results of what you're doing there. The other thing is using paid advertising. Google Ads, for example. From what we've seen is that if you're running Google Ads and also doing search engine optimization at the same time, you do tend to get a little bit more of a boost when it comes to your marketing. Now, this is a little bit more inferred than factual. This is not something that that Google was posting and this is how they do it. It's just that from what we've seen from other accounts that we've run, when you're doing SEO and you're doing Google Ads, we tend to see a little bit of a bump in both of them. So that's why you want to use these multiple channels and really have that blended strategy. So it's a little bit more like a synergistic relationship. When you have all these different channels, all these different components working together, they're going to complement each other, they're going to support each other, and you're just going to get a lot more out of it. So that's what I mean by this blended strategy, tying everything together. Now, let me dive a little bit deeper into the Google Ads side of it. Because when you have your med spa, doing Google Ads is a very good strategy to target some of your high ticket services. So anything body contouring related, if you're doing any type of thread lifts, if you're doing anything from a sexual wellness perspective. So basically things that are $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 plus. Work very, very well for Google Ads for the most part. Again, you have to do some research and figure out what does the competition look like, what does the search volume look like, but Google Ads is a very good strategy for that. Now, the other thing of when it comes to Google Ads is that why does it work quite well, especially when you're using this blended strategy I was talking about? Because when you use different channels, there's also different time frames that go into each of them. Now, Google Ads is going to be your fast, quick way to get leads coming in as soon as possible. You can put up a Google ad today and you can conceivably start getting leads coming in that exact same day. When you're doing search engine optimization, depending on how long you've been in business for, depending on how much Google is viewing you right now, it may take several months. In some cases, it may take even longer. If you're in a very competitive market, it may take years. So when you're combining Google Ads with search engine optimization, Google Ads solves the issue of that short term, I need something in the short term to help support and pay for the rest of my marketing. So that's where Google Ads really plays that role. Now, when you're doing Google Ads, the good thing about that is that you have a lot more control over the keywords than you do when it comes to search engine optimization. Now, you could also do the same thing. What you're doing on Google Ads from a keyword perspective could be the same thing you're doing on search engine optimization. And basically, you're able to say, hey, I only want to show my ad when these keywords come up. So you have a little bit more control there. Now, on the SEO side, when it comes to keywords, you really are going after your main keywords. We call these the parent keywords. So think of like med spa in Los Angeles. If that's the main keyword, then you will also rank for variations of that. Best med spa in Los Angeles, top med spa in Los Angeles, good med spa doctor in Los Angeles. So you're going to rank for different variations, which is good. It's helpful. It's good. On the Google Ad side is that you just have a little bit more control of what you want your ad to show for, which is really what you want, because you want to make sure that if you're paying every time someone clicks on you, you only want to be showing for those ideal keywords that you really want to show for. So you have a lot more control there. The other thing that you want to be aware of is the use of negative keywords. This is actually something that not a lot of people realize, is that you can make sure that you can put in keywords that you don't want your ads to show for at all. If anyone types in any of these keywords, your ads will not show up. So you may be thinking, okay, well, why would I ever want to not show up for something? So let me give you an example. Let's say that you are promoting thread lifts and you want to have a negative keyword for training. So if someone puts in thread lift training, you don't want to show for that because it's probably one of your competitors who's trying to figure out how to do thread lifts so they can open up their own practice and offer that service. So you don't want to show for that if you're going for clients who actually are looking for the procedure. So that's an example of a negative keyword. which can be very helpful because it's basically you are not showing your ad in front of people who are never going to become your client. So it's a powerful list to use. And as you start running your campaign, you're going to start seeing, okay, what are the search terms people are looking for when they're seeing my ad? And when you see that, there's going to be some commonality. And then you can see, oh, I don't want to have this keyword in there. I don't want to have this keyword showing at all. And from there, you're able to build up your negative keyword list. So that's a very powerful tool when you start looking at Google Ads specifically. Now, when it comes to SEO, there's a couple of different ways of how SEO is being implemented. One is using the local map search. So this is what Google calls the Google 3-pack, the Google Map Pack. It's basically when you do a search on Google, what is the top 3 search results with a map next to them. Now, this is extremely important real estate space when it comes to Google. And this is really going to be tied to your Google business profile. So you need to focus on building up your Google business profile first, even more so before the website. I can make the argument on that because that's the first thing people are going to see. And that's usually where most people are going to make their buying decisions as far as who do I want to contact first? Who do I want to call first? And so if that's pretty much the first thing people are going to see, then you want to make sure that you're showing up there and things are looking really, really good there for you. So what can you do in this situation? Well, make sure you have a Google business profile. You want to get reviews to your Google business profile. You also want to update the information. So I'm talking about photos. I'm talking about all your business information, descriptions, also putting posts on it on a regular basis. Google likes to see these signals, also even replying back to reviews. Google does like to see that. So make sure that anything to do with your Google business profile, you have it filled out as completely as possible. The questions and answers, also a great section that you can fill out that a lot of people miss. Q&A section on the Google business profile is great. Putting photos in there is good. So anything where you're completely filling out the profile or you're having some type of ongoing consistency on that profile. So the Google business profile posting. So think of them like social media posts, but on your Google business profile. So when you are doing that, you're sending these signals to Google that, hey, I'm active, I'm engaging, I'm basically a legitimate business, because why would I be doing this if I wasn't? When Google sees that, then they're gonna give you more points behind that. When they give you more points, then they're more inclined to rank you in that local map search. And again, that's really where you want to be, in that top 3 section. That's what every local business, every single med spa needs to be aiming for. Now, once you're there, what's the next part of it? So after that, then you're going to start seeing the website results. So this is the organic search listings. This is important, and between the two of these, they are related. So the local map search and the organic search, they're both related to each other, but they are 2 different sections. In reality, they're 2 different sections. So what is going to really lead to you showing up in that organic search listings? This is going to be tied a lot more to your website. It's all going to be tied to backlinks. So from a high level, what are the pieces that go into this? Well, it's going to be the content that is being written on your website. So think of service pages. So when it comes to these pages, if you don't already have this set up this way, then you definitely do this if you want to succeed in search engine optimization. You want to have an individual page per service. So you want to have an individual Botox page, you want to have an individual filler page, you want to have a separate thread lift page, you want to have a separate Silfirm page, an M-Skull page, all the different services, you want to have separate pages, because each of those pages is going to be able to rank by itself for whatever that service is. If you have everything just bunched together in one services page, Google's not going to know what is this page really about. So if someone is searching for, let's say, RF microneedling, who is Google going to show more? A page with all these different services, or a page just about RF microneedling? It's going to be just that one page, because that's more of a relevant search result. So Google is going to almost always prioritize pages where it's only about that one service. That's why you want to have separate service pages. And the content that's on those pages is going to play a leading role in Google recognizing, okay, is this relevant? Is this good? And also, are people going to sit there and read the information on the page? Because Google is looking at how long are people spending on your website. Typically, the longer people spend on your website, the more credit Google's going to give you. So you need to have enough content on your website where people will consume it and spend more time on your site. But you also can't write a whole long dissertation or have a big long dictionary length on your site, because then people are going to see that and be like, I don't want to read this, it's too long. So you need to strike that balance in there. Now, there's lots of SEO people out there saying different things when it comes to word count. I think if you're somewhere between 1,000 to 2,000, that's a pretty good number, again, depending on what specifically you're talking about, what specific service, but that's a pretty good number to be around. Now, you can also do blog posts. Now, blog posts is also important, just more from a continuity standpoint. Google's seeing that you are putting out consistent information. Now, obviously, you want to have these blog posts be about the services that you offer. And you also want to have people read it. So you have to think about it from a human is reading it. And also, now that AI is getting bigger and bigger, people think about, hey, can I just have AI write this? I don't recommend that, just because Google not too long ago actually punished a lot of sites that were heavily AI written. And so even though Google's spending a lot in their own AI, it seems like they're not quite clear on how they're going to treat AI from an SEO perspective. So I think it's fine to use AI to write the base of your content, but then I certainly think you need to go through there and fine tune it so that it really is written for a human by a human. So that's the other part of it, content, blog content, and also your web page content. Blog content you're always going to be doing on a consistent basis. Your web page content, you don't necessarily have to go in there every couple months and redo it. Once you have it there and it's working, just leave it, it's fine. But the blog content, you always want to keep doing that. Now, aside from content, there's also the technical optimization side. And when I say about technical optimization, this is like the coding on the back end of your site. The H1 tags, the H2 tags, the meta descriptions, the alt tags, all that stuff on the back end, which is basically telling Google's robot, what is this page all about? Very important. Again, for these ones, you're typically doing it one time and then you won't have to keep redoing it, unless, of course, you are adding more pages. And then after that, there's the linking. Now, there's a couple things that fall into this, which I'll be going into here a little bit more in a second. But think of the linking as there's two different types of linking, or called link building. So one is when you are linking to directories. So think of directories as a well-known site that Google uses to confirm that your business really is in business. So if you have a Facebook page, if you have a Yelp page, if you have a Google business profile, these are all different directories, and there's tons of them out there. You probably haven't heard of 90% of them, but Google still looks at them. Now, if you're going to be working with an SEO company, most of them will do this part for you. But the second part, what I'm going to talk about, which is backlinks, not every SEO company does this. Most actually don't, because it can be very time consuming. It could also be very expensive. But when you do backlinking and you do it properly, this is actually a huge factor that goes into your overall SEO, particularly when it comes to your website. And what is backlinking? Backlinking is basically when another site links back to your site. So an example is, let's say, a press release. Let's say ABC News does a press release on your medical spa. And in that press release, it's going to be on ABC News' website. In that press release, it will have your practice name and your practice website. So that is linking back to your site from their site. So that's a backlink. Now, when Google's looking at this, they are very heavily focused on what is the quality and the relevance of that backlink. Not so much the quantity. Now, obviously, if you have very high quality and quantity, it's even better. But Google is always going to prioritize the quality over the quantity. So back in the day, people would just get all these backlinks that were irrelevant and then that were very low quality, just because that's what Google wanted. They wanted more backlinks. But then Google wised up to that and they said that, it doesn't make sense. Like, just because you have a lot doesn't mean that you're very authoritative. So they really punished a lot of the sites that were doing that, and they switched to, now you need to have quality sites because they are harder to get. And if a quality site is linking back to your site, then that is indicative to Google, okay, your site must be good, because why would this high quality site link back to your site? I'll give you an offline example of how this works. Let's say that the President of the United States talks about your business and talks about you and says, oh, this person is great, they're amazing, they're very trustworthy, you should do business with them because they'll take care of you. It's a very strong reference. That's a very strong endorsement. Now, let's say that there's 100 convicts and criminals saying that, oh, this person is great, their business is amazing, they're very trustworthy, you should do business with them because they'll take care of you. Now, even though there's a lot more of them, this may actually be hurting your reputation. So Google looks at this exactly in this sense. So when it comes, again, to the website, really three things: the content, the technical optimization, and the link building. So these really tie into that organic search listing side of it. And is your website going to rank high on that Google search? Now, for the next one I really want to dive into is the online reviews. Now, I have another video when it comes to online reviews, but online reviews is really the foundation of any marketing you do. You should always have that before you do any marketing, because people make their decisions based on online reviews. Think about yourself when you go shopping, when you look for a business. What's the biggest thing that goes into your decision-making process? The reviews play a very big role in that. So if you're doing paid advertising, you're doing SEO, you're not getting the results you're hoping for, and your reviews is just okay, then that might be the reason that you're having issues. Or if your no-show rate is very high, then it could be because of your online reviews. I'm not saying that that is the reason, but it could play a part into it that not a lot of practice owners even consider. They don't even think about it. They just think about, how come I'm not getting good leads? How come people are no-showing? Well, if they looked you up and they didn't like what they saw, or they found somebody else where it looked better, they're gonna go to that person. So you wanna look online. How many reviews do you have, and what is your review score compared to your competition? You wanna be a no-brainer option. What do I mean by no-brainer option? People see you, they see your competition, and they're like, I wanna go to this person because their online reviews are much better, or they have significantly more than the other person. So that's what you wanna consider when you're going through this. Look and see what your competition doing. Do they have a 4.7, 4.8 star rating? Okay, you need to be at least that. Do they have 20 reviews, 30 reviews, 40 reviews? Then you wanna be multiples of that. If they have 20, you want 60, you want 80. If they have 50, you want 150, you want 200. If they have 100, you want 200, 300. You want to be multiples of what your competition is at. So focus on your online reviews. This needs to be the foundation of any marketing that you're doing. Now, next one is going to be the aggregator sites, which I talked a little bit in the link building side of it. So like having Yelp, having Facebook, all of those ones. This ones, you do want to go after the big ones. So particularly Yelp. So I know a lot of practice owners don't like Yelp, whether because of their marketing, how they just constantly call you trying to pitch you, or that they hide your reviews. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Yelp either, but from a SEO perspective, you want to have it. And from an online review perspective also, you do want to get reviews there as well. However, what I like to do is that I like to get my reviews on Google first, and then ask people, hey, would you mind just copying and pasting your review over to Yelp as well? It would make a big difference. It'd only take you a minute to do it. By the way, here's the link to my Yelp profile, so it's easy for you. So when you do it that way, you're basically getting 2 reviews for the price of 1, and not everyone's gonna do it, but some will. So basically you're getting free reviews out of it. So you do wanna have these big sites, at least having a profile with them, because Google does look at it from an SEO perspective, and they wanna make sure that the more of these you have, the more credit they're going to give to you. Now, in that vein of links, I talked about backlinking. So press releases is also a good way to build up some of those backlinks. Also, depending on how the press release is being done, it can also help rank you from an SEO perspective. Now, there are sites out there that can help you with press releases, so I won't dive too deeply into that. Just know they're out there. Just know that they can help you from an SEO perspective and help you rank better. So just be aware of that. So with all that in mind, you need to think about, okay, when you're looking at SEO, why is your SEO not working? It's going to be very often because of all these factors that I just listed. Now, you also have to think though about what is the lead growth versus the cost, especially when we're looking at SEO versus Google Ads. Now, if you remember, I talked about having that blended strategy because you're really helping to cover up the weaknesses of each one. Now, when it comes to SEO, the biggest weakness is the time. It takes time for you to rank. For Google Ads, it's really going to come down to the longevity of it. So you're only going to be getting leads from it as long as you pay money into it. If you stop paying, then you don't get anything out of it. So, but when it comes from a lead growth perspective, it's when you're looking at SEO, over time, your leads should grow. So as you rank better and better and better, so it starts to look into this hockey stick growth trajectory. It's because that as you're ranking more and more, you're ranking higher and higher, you're getting more and more good online reviews, more and more people are seeing you, more and more people are contacting you. And as long as you keep ranking more and more for your different services, the number of leads you should be getting over time should be going up. But the amount that you're paying is really staying the same. Because if you're paying a SEO company, they're not charging you more and more and more as you're getting more and more leads. They're usually charging you a flat fee on a monthly basis. And then as you rank better and better, your leads go up. The number of leads you get go up. So from a lead to cost perspective, SEO is very good in that sense. Google Ads, on the other hand, it's going to be fairly stagnant. And when I say stagnant is that as the campaign goes on and matures, you're going to get to a point where your average cost per lead is going to fall within a certain range. You know that depending on the month, it's going to be between $50 and $75. And it's really not going to venture too far out of that. So when you know that and you want more leads, what do? You have to put more money into it. As you put more money into it, you will get more leads. So the growth of leads is very linear compared to the cost. The more you pay, the more leads you would get. So just be aware of this as you're considering SEO versus Google Ads. And it's not that uncommon for practices to do both at the same time, as I mentioned before, to cover up the weaknesses of both. Or if someone doesn't have as much of a budget and they need leads coming in, they need clients coming in faster, then they would start with Google Ads first. And then as that's working, they would switch over to SEO and have SEO running. And then as the SEO gets better and better and better, they may eventually drop off Google Ads. So there's a couple of different strategies there. But again, you have to think about what is the lead growth versus the cost, and the benefits of search engine optimization and the benefits of Google Ads. Search engine optimization will get better over time. So just keep that in mind. Now, the other thing also is that the other reason why I think SEO is a very powerful strategy is that most people skip over ads. Depending on what statistics you look at, it can be anywhere between 80 to 93% of people are going to skip over ads. So, and this is not to say that Google Ads does not work. It absolutely does work in certain markets. But just bear in mind that if you're running ads, just know that 80 to 93% of people who are searching for the keywords are going to go to the organic search section. That's why I think SEO is a very, very powerful channel if you're able to commit the time to it, because that's where the majority of people are searching. There's also a little bit more trust when people look in the organic section versus the ads, because they know, hey, if a business is running ads, then are they really the best company? Are they really the number one? Are they really the most authoritative? But if someone sees a business coming up number one in the organic side, there's already that built-in authority, that built-in trust, because like, man, if they're number one in Google, they must be good. They must be authoritative. So there's already a little bit more credibility that comes in their mind before they even talk with you. So just be aware of that as you're balancing between Google Ads, SEO. And again, if you're doing both, then you're basically dominating the entire page. Because if in an ideal situation, you're doing Google Ads, so you're at the very top, you have a presence there. You're dominating in the local map section, which is typically next. You're also dominating in the organic section, which is the website. So if you have 3 shots at a person, then you just increase the chances of your success. So again, that blended strategy where everything is tying together, that's the ideal situation. But if you're looking at SEO versus Google Ads, or why your SEO may not be working, just be aware of that part of it. Now, if your Medspas needs help, we'd love to talk to you about it, how to help you implement these strategies for your practice, how to help you grow, how to get more clients coming in. So there's a link below. You can schedule a call with our team and we can help you fix that. But in the meantime, wishing you luck.